Hello, Tailgate Legends. Welcome to this Victory Thursday. It is Thursday when I'm making this video. Got a little busy this week, but here I am. I actually made a video on Tuesday, and something got fucked up with my phone, so I didn't really have time to make another one. So it's Thursday, but hopefully you guys have time to watch it before I make another one next week. Got a great video for you today. Well, before that, it's Victory Thursday, so Badgers suck, but Packers got a great win over the Chiefs, and I got a big win over Gar. So, yeah, another good week. Looking forward to this next week. Got a lot of bye weeks again. Well, not too many, but yeah, we'll see. So today, going to go through last week's matchups again. And going to do my predictions for next week. Next week, or this upcoming week, got a lot of really fun matchups, so looking forward to that. In between that, I'm gonna do some mid-season award nominees. So I'm gonna do my top 5 MVPs. So my top 5 MVP race right now, my top 5 most improved player list, and my top 5 rookie of the year list. And this is for fantasy football, not for real football, only for fantasy football. Also, I had a couple people inquire about the if this league was this is who you would be. So I did it with if we were an NFL team, who would you be? For example, if our league was seasons of Game of Thrones, for example, like Landon. Let's say Landon is a season of Game of Thrones. He would obviously be season 8 because they're both finished and not very good. So Landon would be season 8. So I just mean like that. So somebody mentioned, if we were Marvel movies or we were the MCU, what characters or what movies would we be? Something like that. If you guys have any suggestions, I'm probably going to bring that back. I got a lot of really good feedback from that. So, yeah, any ideas, just let me know. If I don't know shit about the subject, I'll fucking wing it. Fuck it. So let's get started. Last week's matchups. We're going to start with, of course, I'm not fucking ready. So we are going to start with Roofer, Ricky 2000 against Burns. So Ricky 2000 got the win, 118 to 105. Burns, another atrocious week. Your team, it's not looking the greatest, I guess is the best way to put that. So we'll see what happens the rest of the season, but you haven't been putting up very many points. Yeah, it's just kind of been looking a little bad, but we'll see. I got your first rounder, so I'm kind of looking forward to you continuing to lose, so we'll see. Next we have Evan Shearer against She Says with Attitude. Evan, high score of the week again, 181 170 or to 71, just 71. Landon, again, poor week. You're the only team to not score over 100 points. Evan, 181, huge week. Delvin Cook had a great game. You had a few players with huge games, so 181. Evan, I feel like Evan is probably the second best team right now. Yeah, either him or Lemke. Burns' team is still pretty good, but they're kind of falling off a little bit. But Evan, I wouldn't want to face you right now. That's how good your team is. So, yeah. Next, we have Hot Chub Time Machine against Weiler. Weiler pulls out the win. I was rooting for you, Weiler. I really was. I gave you a little bit of my defensive magic. Got 19 points out of the Steelers Monday night to get the win by 1 point. So Weiler gets the win, gets the revenge victory over Hot Chub Time Machine. Lemke, I think, destroyed him pretty good last time. So Weiler comes back, wins the second round. I hope you guys face each other in the playoffs again. This is becoming kind of a really fun rivalry, so we'll see what happens. Next, we have me, Kaiser Soze, against Gar, Mr. Fist. I won 166 to 116. I had my Cowboys on a bye, I had the Ravens on a bye. Cooper Kupp and Mike Evans fucking showed up, showed out, got me the win. Patriots D had another solid week, so got another win. So, and then we have Pump and Munch against Greasers. This was a really fun matchup too. Yacht ends up with the win. Aaron Jones is looking really good. Greasers 144. That's a good output. Like I said last week about Boggs, you put up 144. You're really hoping to win. You probably should win. Most of the time, you're going to get the win. But Yacht 148 this week, and you are officially in second place all by yourself. And last, we have Fat Bottom Girlies, Boggs against Prusky, Shit the Bed Fred. Shit the Bed Fred, 169. Boggs only 110. Tevin Coleman went off this week. Prusky, your team doesn't look that bad. Rodgers is playing really well. You got Tevin Coleman. You got Saquon back. You got Derrick Henry. He was on... he wasn't on a bye, but he had an okay week. So team doesn't look that bad. Juju had a good week. Now they were playing the Dolphins, so it's really hard to say how that's going to go for the rest of the year. But for now, you got the win. So, all right. So I'm going to go over some mid-season award nominees. So first, I'm going to start with most improved player. So my top 5 most improved players. Give me a second. I'm going to pull up some stats. These are in no particular order. These are just my top 5, no particular order. So first, I have Aaron Jones, most improved player. I think we all kind of know. We've all kind of known what kind of talent Aaron Jones has had. I moved off him a year too early. And definitely could have got a hell of a lot more for him if I would have held on to him for another year. But it is what it is. Aaron Jones right now is the third highest scoring running back at 191 points. He has had 2 big weeks, but he's had a 55 and a 45. But besides that, he's had a 19-point week, 14, 18, 28. So he's putting up good numbers. He's only had 2 poor weeks, and one of those weeks he got hurt. So Aaron Jones, first on my list for most improved. Next, I have Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin right now is number 2 among receivers behind Michael Thomas for fantasy points. He is just going apeshit. 149 points. Him and Mike Evans are fucking just 2 solid receivers, even with Jameis Winston sucking dick. It's crazy. I mean, I don't have to worry about Mike Evans, and you don't have to worry about fucking Godwin throwing picks. But Chris Godwin, he's had some monster weeks. He's only had one poor outing at 7 points week 3. And then 9 points week 8, but even 9 points, I mean, it's not great, but if your other players are playing well, 9 points isn't that bad. And you put up 181 points with Godwin getting in 9. So, so Chris Godwin. Next, I have DJ Chark. At the beginning of the year, I was very skeptical on the Jaguars receivers in general. I know, like Dede Westbrook, he's good, and I knew DJ Chark had some potential. I didn't know he was going to be this good. He looks great. Gardner Minshew, he's looked really good, but there have been times where Gardner Minshew has not looked that good at all. But DJ Chark still puts up solid numbers pretty much week in and week out. He's 6th among receivers in fantasy points. I expect that. I expect him to kind of stay on that track. Gardner Minshew loves DJ Chark. DJ Chark is every bit as good as he looks. So, yeah. Next, we have Austin Hooper for most improved player. Now, I think last year, Austin Hooper did have a good year. He had an okay year. You could really see the potential, though. He only went for $15 in the free agent auction, though. Right now, he has 121 fantasy points. Only him and Travis Kelce have more than 100 fantasy points. He's got 121. So, Austin Hooper, number one among tight ends. I think everybody in the league wishes they drafted him at 15, 16 bucks. It's a steal, but yeah, Austin Hooper. And then last for my top five, I have Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is third among all players in fantasy points. Not only is he doing it with his legs, he's doing it with his arm. He looks way better than I ever thought he was going to look. Last year I was trying to trade back into the third round. I really wanted Nyheim Hines or MVS. And everybody thought I wanted Lamar Jackson. I really had no interest in Lamar Jackson last year. Now he looks like a stud. He looks like a number one quarterback, somebody that can win you a league. So so those are my five most improved player nominees. Next, we're going to go into Rookie of the Year. Like I said at the beginning of the year, I didn't really love this rookie class, which is why I took Kyler Murray. And I feel I still feel really comfortable saying that this rookie class just has not been that great. So my top five candidates for Rookie of the Year, Fantasy Rookie of the Year. Again, no particular order. So first we have Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray right now is 10th among scoring fantasy players, I think. Hang on, let me double check that. I know he's 10th among he's 13th among fantasy players, and then Gardner Minshew is 14th. So Kyler Murray, 13th overall among players, 183 points. He's gotten me, 5 weeks over 20 points. The last 2 weeks he hasn't done as much, but I haven't needed him to. But Kyler Murray with the running and the throwing, I'm pretty happy with that pick. So next we have Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, I think, number one overall pick. If we redid the draft again, I think Josh Jacobs goes number one again. Can't really regret that decision. Josh Jacobs right now is, give me a second here. Josh Jacobs is 11th among running backs at 134 points. He's only a half a point from being a top 10 running back right now. So he's getting a ton of work. Derek, you got to be happy with it. He's every bit as good as advertised. So Josh Jacobs, also my list. Next, I have Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders, I think from a production standpoint, he's getting about as much work as I thought he was going to get this year. Moving into next year, I think he's going to get a little bit more. But he looks really good. He looks really good in the passing game mostly. Jordan Howard is getting most, if not all, of the goal line work. And then Miles Sanders, a lot of his production is coming off of big plays, which is good because you hope that next year he starts getting a lot of the production too, or a lot of the attempts, I guess, a lot of the work, and then we'll see. So Miles Sanders, number 3. And then 4th, David Montgomery. This was close. I almost left David Montgomery off and put Gardner Minshew on. So Gardner Minshew is not on my list. I really wanted to get him on the list. I wish I could have done 6 because Gardner Minshew, he's only 3 points behind Kyler Murray. I just value running back so much. So David Montgomery, he got off to a slow start. He's only 28th among running backs. However, his last week, he got 32 points. I really think you're going to start seeing the production. But, he's having a good year so far. And then last but not least, I think to nobody's surprise, Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin right now is 15th among receivers for scoring. In his last 2 weeks, he's had a couple pretty tough matchups. He's had the Niners and Titans, I think. Yeah, so not easy. The last 2 weeks, he hasn't done as much, but he's still a top 15 receiver. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the pick. I didn't think it was going to be this good. I knew from a production standpoint, when I drafted him, I knew he was at worst going to be the number 2, probably going to be the number 1, though. So that's why I took him in the 3rd round. He was worth the flyer. I didn't think it was going to be this good, but certainly happy about it. Okay, and then we're going to go to MVPs. So just like in the NFL, it's a quarterback-driven league. That's the way I like it. That's the way I wanted to set it up. Again, no particular order, just top 5 MVP nominees halfway through the season. So first, Russell Wilson. He is 2nd in the league for fantasy points. Really happy about it. I am paying him $66, so he better give me that kind of production. But yeah, enough said. Russell Wilson. Next, I have Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is 3rd in scoring among players. He's like I said before. I have him on my most improved. I also have him on my MVP. He's doing it with his arm and his leg. I think he's going to be a guy you can count on for years to come. Really fun player to watch. So Lamar Jackson, great job, Weiler, or Sam, I should say. Number 3, I have Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is number 1 in scoring among fantasy players. Now, the average, Lamar Jackson actually wins. Russell Wilson is 2nd, and Deshaun Watson is 2nd. Russell Wilson is 3rd. Deshaun Watson has not had his bye week yet. So he is leading in fantasy points right now. Great pick. He's only $5 right now. He's going to go up next year, but $25, whatever. All right, and number 4, I have Christian McCaffrey. 220 fantasy points right now. He is balling. He has a 42-point outing, 31, 32, 53, and 30. Those are the kinds of games that win you weeks basically alone. Christian McCaffrey, I'm a little scared that Christian McCaffrey is going to be the guy that you have to have on your fantasy team to win. Every year there's that one player, most years anyway, there's that one player. Like, if you don't have this one player on your team, probably not going to win. And I feel like Christian McCaffrey might be that player. And then last, number 5, I have Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook, he is only 0.2 points behind Christian McCaffrey. Now, Christian McCaffrey has had his bye week already, and Dalvin Cook has not. So, but Dalvin Cook, again, he's balling out. He's had a 29-point outing, 33, 26, 28, 36, 32. His off weeks are 17 and 17. So the lowest amount of points he scored is 17 points. Yeah, it's nice to be able to count on that production every single week. So, yeah, Dalvin Cook, number 5 for MVP. All right, so we're at 18 and a half minutes. I'll quickly run down my projections for next week. Okay, so we are going to start with Third Degree Burns against Cheeseheads with Attitude. I'm rooting for Cheeseheads with Attitude, just to give me my pick, but I am going to go with Burns. Sticking to my gun still. I'm going to bet against Landon every single week. Again, nothing against you, but you're starting Ronald Jones, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Deontay Johnson, even Jarvis Landry. It just doesn't look good. You're going, Burns, you got Tom Brady against Baltimore, though. Tom Brady might not have that good of a week, but we'll see. I feel like Tom Brady against bigger opponents like that, I feel like he always steps it up. But, Burns, you are starting Tariq Cohen and Adrian Peterson. That's not that good. And Darius Geis might be back now. And then T.Y. Hilton, Devontae Parker, Kenny Stills. It's okay. David Johnson might play tonight, so maybe you'll have David Johnson, but we'll see. So I'm taking Burns. Next, we have Weiler against Evan Shearer. This is going to be a fun fucking matchup to watch. Both teams are 6-2. There is a very close race for the number one seed, that bye week. We all know how important that bye week is. Um, so I think I'm going to take. I'm going to take Evan. Evan just on a roll right now. Weiler, you have a decent squad, but I don't know. You haven't been putting up very many points recently. So, Evan with Jameis, Dalvin Cook, David Montgomery getting more work, Julian Edelman, Chris Godwin, Kelsey Kittle. That just scares me more than Austin Eckler, Sony Michel, Marlon Mack. Any one of those three guys can go off at any given week, but they're just not consistent enough for me. And then same with Keenan Allen. And I actually love Kenny Golladay. You have a good team, but Evan, you're on a roll. I'm taking you. Next, we have Hot Chub Time Machine against Ricky 2000. Lemke, this is your chance to basically put away Roofer. Roofer right now, you're 2 games back. If you lose this one, you're probably not going to make the playoffs. You're already in trouble. I am actually going to take Lemke here. Dak Prescott, Nick Chubb, and Christian McCaffrey. They're just better than Chris Carson and Josh Jacobs. And then Devontae Adams probably coming back. Marquise Brown. And then Tyler Lockett's been as consistent as anybody this year. Taking Lemke. Okay, next we have Mr. Fist against the Greasers. Another big week here. Greasers got to get a win. Mr. Fist is not out of this. Neither is the Greasers. Big week for both teams. I think I'm gonna go Greasers though. Although I do, again, Gar, I really like your team. Leonard Fournette against Houston. I think that's a pretty good matchup. Robbie Anderson against Miami. Robbie Anderson might go nuts. Odell, that scares me. DJ Chark, I like that matchup. Marvin Jones, I feel like he's hit or miss, but Greasers, I like Stafford. Bell against Miami, I really like that. Breida might not play. We'll see. James Conner against Indy. Indy's got a good D. Tyreek Hill against Minnesota. We'll see if Mahomes comes back. And then DeAndre Hopkins. I think it's going to be a really close matchup, but I'm going to take Greasers in the end. Okay. Next, we have Shit the Bed Fred against Pump and Munch. I am taking Prusky in this one. And this is another huge matchup because this is the 2 seed and against the 3 seed in our division. And then on the flip side, you have the 4 seed against the 5 seed. So we'll see. This is a huge week. All 4 teams need wins. I am going to take Prusky in this one. Rodgers, Barkley, Tevin Coleman now against the Cardinals. I like your team. Prusk. And, Yacht, I like your team too, but it's way too inconsistent, way too hit or miss. So I'm taking Prusky in that one. And then last but not least, we have Fat Bottom Girlies against Kaiser Soze. Me. As always, I'm taking me. Russell Wilson, Ezekiel Elliott. I'm starting 4 receivers. 2 of them are Terry McLaurin and Corey Davis. So I'm not super excited about that, but probably going to be going up against Mitchell Trubisky. I'm assuming that's who you'll start. You have Ty Johnson. Yeah. I'm going to take me. Hopefully get the win, go to 9-0, and go from there. So, all right. So real quick, just want to run down the standings. So crazy. So you have Hot Chub Time Machine, Weiler, and Shearer at all 3 at 6-2. Then you have Ricky 2000 at 4-4, Burns at 3-5, and Landon at 1-7. This is a huge week. Burns, if you lose to Landon this week, you are done. Same with you, Derek. You lose again this week against Evan, I think, is who you're playing. No, you were playing one of the other 2 teams, whatever. You're playing one of the 6-2 teams. You might be done too. So, and then in our division, we have me, 8-0. Pump and Munch at 4-4. Shit the Bed Fred and Greasers both at 3-5. Mr. Fist and Fat Bottom Girlies at 2-6. So only 2 games separate the 2 seed from the 6 seed. So a lot of huge games this week. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys next week.